Hey there, my Powerbook 3 Raising Kanan fans. We are back. We are back with Raising Kanan Season 3, Episode 1, Home Sweet Home. We are finally back. I swear it's been over a year. I mean, it's been a while, but the synopsis for this episode says Rock makes a life-changing decision in the aftermath of the Mafia's ambush. Yes, those Italianos shut it down. But it's too little too late for Kanan, as he looks to pave his own path free of his mother's lies. Baby, there's going to be a lot of lie telling. People tell lies all the time. Your mama ain't no different, and you ain't going to be no different when you get old and be telling all them lies. Anywho, I thought this was a great episode, a great way to start off the new season. I hope y'all all felt the same way down in the comment section. And again, sorry for the delay in putting this up. I did watch it back on Friday, but I didn't get a chance to do a review, and then I had to watch it again today. So here it is. Oh, but before we get started, please don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And thank you for all of you who have been supporting my channel. I really appreciate it. I'm glad to have gotten my channel back, June BLC. And now I will upload all my reviews for Powerbook 3 Raising Kanan Season 3 on this channel, June BLC. So it starts off with, what was that, Marvin in a car driving with that guy from the wheelchair, the guy who would let him in his apartment at the end of the last episode. Remember them Italians came in there and set it off up in all of their drug spots, and Rock got hit, Marvin got hit, Lulu's that singer in the recording studio got hit, and it was just wild. Everything was wild. But Rock got saved by Unique. Unique came in there, shot that guy when he was about to kill Rock, and he said, South Side. And I was like, yes. But anyway, now this guy who let Marvin in with the wheelchair, I guess he could drive. He can't walk, but he could drive. And he was driving, and Marvin's complaining, oh, I got shot and everything. And the guy said, yeah, well, good that it went straight through. And Marvin's like, MFers want to think you're supposed to be celebrating because it went straight through. And that guy driving said it's better than having a bullet stuck in your damn body pressed up against your spine. See, that's why he's in a wheelchair. So Marvin didn't even think about that, he busy trying to piece himself together, sticking paper towels and tissues up in there, using duct tape or the electrical tape to hold the spot down and trying to heal himself. Meanwhile, we got Rock in the hospital. The cops want to talk to her, they keep wanting to talk to her and hear the story again. She said, I done told you about it 3 times now, But in the meantime, she's getting off the phone telling Lou, put it on Crown. They blaming Crown because Lou already killed Crown, remember? So Crown is dead. So that's that. So they were able to blame Crown while he's dead on everything, saying he's into this and that. And while the police are talking to Rock, as she give the details of what happened for the 3rd time, Detective Howard comes up and he's standing there, and they asked him for his 2 cents, and he gave his 2 cents about who Crown Camacho is. It Camacho or whatever Crown is about? Is it Quincy Camacho? Whatever Crown's name is. He gives his 2 cents, saying, yeah, he was into a lot of things. He dirty and stuff. So he backed up Rock's story. See, we seeing that Detective Howard is dirty himself now. He a dirty detective, honey. Meanwhile, he comes into the hospital where his boss is the captain, chief, whatever he is, and they talking, and here comes Detective Burke in there. I need to talk to you, and this, you don't understand who he is. You don't know this is that. ABC. And the chief is like, look, stop, enough. And he's like, Burke, I don't know what I did to you, but you need to stop it. That's what Howard is trying to be cool and stuff. And the chief is like, what you doing here anyway? And he said, I heard it on the radio. I figured it was one of those all hands on deck nights. And he said, it certainly is, and so he got mad at Detective Burke, the chief, and he was like, this is it. And he suspended her or fired her and took her badge and everything. Meanwhile, those detectives who tried to get Rock to keep telling her story over again, they try to trip you up with that stuff. They want you to tell it 2 and 3 times because you end up changing parts. When you're lying, you can't remember what you said, so you end up changing stuff. But she didn't change her story. Meanwhile, back at the record studio, they're going through all his stuff. Lou's there, and they're going through all of that stuff. And Lou does just what Rock told him to do and put it all on Crown and blamed him for everything. Said he was messing with the Jamaicans and the Mexicans, the Italians, and everything. He was into stuff that they didn't even know. And, and Rock's story was like, I got that record studio and got that because my family was always musical. My father, my grandfather. And so, my brother was doing the same thing, and we were a musical family, and we didn't know that Crown had all this stuff that he owed money, and now they telling us we owe it. It was, oh man, they had that story together, honey. And while Lou was talking about he was in drugs and stuff, and we didn't even know it, so it worked out for them. Next, we have Unique coming home, and he sees some guy in the house. He said, "Who's that?" And it's his brother Ronnie. He got out of jail early, and his girl is like, "You didn't tell me your brother was coming home early, And he was like, "Yo, I didn't know. I thought he was coming home Thursday, And he's like, "It's his big brother." And from the narration, the guy narrating and saying is Ronnie was a wild guy. He's one of them dudes who was wild, and you just wanted to stay away from him. So he's his big brother, and he goes over there and say, "Ronnie, you ain't gonna get up and give your little brother a hug?" And he's like, "I don't want my cereal to get soggy." I said, "Oh damn." I was like, how long it take to give a hug? You know what I mean? I said, he look crazy already. Something about him, just big dude sitting there eating a bowl of cereal, look wild. And he asked Unique if he got cut. And Unique's like, "What?" He said, "Your sleeve." He said, "Oh yeah, I hit it on the car door earlier." He said, "You stayed BSing." I said, damn, he knew already that he was lying because that's definitely what didn't happen. Anyway, then it switches over to that mob boss Stefano, who owns a fish store in Brooklyn. I think it's in Brooklyn. And he's in the fish store talking to that guy, Sally from Newark. Was it Newark, New Jersey? I know he was in New Jersey somewhere. And he had hired him to come and wreak havoc over here in Queens, New York, in Jamaica, Queens. Shooting up all the rock spots and even unique spots as well. And so he started saying stuff, and Stefano said, like, nah, the fish got ears. And they went out back, and they said the feds are there, and they're putting bugs in everybody's house. They listening in on everybody's places. He had the place swept to make sure there was no bugs there. But he said, it's crazy that he screwed up everything and that his cleaning days over here, because he said, "Oh, we'll let the dust settle. Stefano, I'm sorry. We'll let the dust settle and then we'll just clean up something." He said, "No, your cleaning days on this side, over, at least on this side of the river. Go tidy up ish on the other side of New Jersey, but don't do anything here." And he said, "And before you go," he said, "you gonna buy at least a couple of butterfly fish before you go. That's the least you could do." He make everybody buy fish. I think when Rock came there, she had to buy fish too. Anyway, we see Rock arriving at her new house that she bought, and it's Rock, Marvin, Kanan, and Jukebox. And they go in there, and Rock is talking about having to unpack with one arm, and he said, "Well, that's what you got Kanan for." Kanan like, "I don't live here." And Marvin like, "What you mean? You live where your mother lived, whatever." He went off, and Jukebox offered to help her, and she said, "Okay, fine," because she just wanted some tea. She said, "Because we need to sit down and talk." So Marvin is trying to tell Kanan, "You need to get yourselves together. You gonna help your mother and all this stuff." And Kanan looked at him and just walked past him. And Marvin was like, you see, and he started that woosah thing. He started doing this woosah breathing. I fell out. I was like, oh no, you got Marvin breathing, Then we see Lulu back at the Bullet, what is it? Bullet record studio, whatever like that. And he's looking at that blood-stained spot on the ground where that girl got killed. He was messing with her, but she was still one of his artists. But they kicked him out saying it was a crime scene, so he had to bounce from there. So now we see Rock, Kanan, Jukebox, and Marvin sitting at the table, and they're talking. And Rock is telling Jukebox she's sorry about what happened to Kenya. Remember her mother got shot when she came to the house to talk to Rock, mother to mother, about what's going on with her and Jukebox. And she got shot by those bullets. They started shooting when she told her, "Hurry up, get down." And she stood up and ran to run into the house. instead of staying down to the ground, and she got shot. So Jukebox wanted to know why her mother was there in the first place, and she said she wanted to talk about you. She felt sorry. She was hurting about the way she, how she left you, and also about how things went down after she met, after y'all reconnected, and how she felt bad about it. And Jukebox was like, she said all of that, and you could tell Rock was lying. Rock said, yeah, and then Marvin said, well, I got my own feelings about Kenya. He said, but Jukebox, she loved you, and she did. She knows she did. She probably felt bad for doing you wrong with that church shit that went down. That's what he was saying. So anyway, Rock said that she's tired of all of this, what she's doing. She's done with it. It costs way too much than what she willing to pay. And Kanan's like rolling his eyes like she lying. So she's like, I'm done. That's it. And Kanan's like, so you think that means me and you are good now? With that talking, how he do it. And she's like, no, me and you, we got a lot to fix. That's not what I'm saying. And Kanan is like, the only reason I came to that hospital is to keep up that BS story that you and my father put together about Crown. And Marvin's like, what's he talking about? DEFCON is dead. What are he talking about? And Kanan said, you gonna tell him or am I? And Rock said, like I said, Kanan, we got a lot to talk about. And Kanan's like, I ain't got ish to talk about because if you talking, you lying. I said, oh goodness, really? And he added, I ain't got time for that ish no more. And he walked out. And Rock asked, Jukebox to go after him. And Jukebox tried to talk to him. And he was like, nah, I ain't got nothing to say to her. I ain't got nothing to say to you. She's a liar. I'm tired of it. And she's trying to get him to at least give her a chance, to make things right between y'all. He said, nah. He was like, what? That's how your mother got killed, messing with her, getting caught up in her mess and all this stuff, making Jukebox think that, but that's not how she got killed, really. So inside the house, Rock is telling Marvin the truth about who Kanan's father is. That is Detective Malcolm. And he is like, his mind is blown. He's like, what the bleep? He couldn't understand how she kept this a secret to herself. And she was like, look, you know what the streets would do to him if they knew he was a cop's kid, what they would do to me and everything. So he's like, wow. And then Jukebox came in and let her know that, Kanan bounced. So now it switches over to a scene with Burke and her father. And they're talking about how she's suspended until this IAD investigation is over, and that her captain called and he's concerned about her. He's concerned about her losing a job, but he's also concerned that she might go to jail. And she's like, for what? For finding out that Howard is a dirty cop? And I'm sitting there going, why are you so worried about a black cop that's dirty when all those white people in the precinct, you think all those white cops, you don't think none of them are dirty? Your father could have been dirty, Shannon, Miss Shannon Burke or whatever. He could have been dirty. And her father is sitting there going, nobody gives a F about Howard. They caring about you. And she's like, that's the problem. They not listening to me. He's like, you're not listening to me. I'm trying to tell you how to talk to these people. He said, I'm going to go down there with you to see them IAD people when you have to meet with them. And he said, you let me do the talking. You don't say anything because I know how these guys work. And she's like, whatever, Dad, don't effing yell at me. I was like, she don't listen. He told her, you don't listen. Even her captor said it to her too. He told her, I tried to help you. I tried to get you out of, but you don't listen. You don't listen. You got to do everything your way. You don't listen. And then she also meets up with her girlfriend, who's now her ex-girlfriend, and that girl is mad. She's talking about, I'm sorry that I circled around back with you. I really had feelings for you and cared about you, but now they all over me and everything. I worked too hard with my career to have it ruined because of you. You just don't listen to nobody. I told you to stop. You kept on doing it. You're so stuck on this man. She said, my mother's about to die in less than a year, and I need to be here for her. I don't have time for this mess. We are through. We are done. And she got up and left and said, I hope this whole thing with Howard was worth it for you. And I don't think she understands the magnitude of what she's doing, because her obsession with this, trying to take him down and prove that she's right and he's dirty. Does she know how many dirty cops are probably in that precinct? and how that's going to look on her record and how they're going to treat her and look towards her. Nobody's going to want to be her partner because of who she is. He'll do something wrong and she'll be trying to report them and take them down. It looks bad. With all those crimes happening out there, she's worried about Malcolm's secret. Why are you worried about his personal life secret? Who's his son? Who he slept with, his CO, and all of that stuff? It ain't none of your business. You just got on the job, girl. Stay clean and stay out of people's business. So now we got this scene with Unique and his brother Ronnie, and he's in the car and he's like, yo, things used to be different when I was out here. And Unique is trying to tell him that the times have changed and sometimes you got to change with the times. And he's like, yo, when I left, I put you in that CEO position. Now you done demoted yourself down to entry level. You got Rock got you working over there in New Jersey, making a nickel on 500. And Unique said, that ain't even a split. And he added, that may be how you see it, but that's not how it was. Now we got Kanan and Famous in the apartment smoking weed, and Famous lets him know that there was an eviction notice on the door and that they need money for rent. And of course, Kanan talking about probably selling drugs, and that's not something that, Famous is wanting to do. For sure it's not. But what was so funny is Kanan was talking about he ain't never going back home, and Famous was like, that's some BS. He said, if my mother would take me back in the house, I'd be right back in my room in a heartbeat. He was not even trying to be out there on his own. He said he ain't down for all that hustling stuff. But Kanan keeps reminding him the rent is due. Anyway, then the scene switches over to Lou and Marvin talking, and Lou is like drinking like crazy and he's pissed. I guess Marvin is telling him, trying to see his side of the story, and Lou is like, yo, why is it she get to say she done, she through, she not doing this no more, I'm out, but when I say that I want to be out and stuff, she tell me she own me. And then he let Marvin knows stuff about what happened with Scrappy and how she messed up and shot him, and he wasn't even no snitch and stuff. And Marvin seemed like he was trying to side with Rock and saying, back in those other episodes, Marvin always was the one that was the F up. He would mess everything up and Rock would always be mad at him and always was with Lou. But now I think Marvin is liking that it's the tables have turned, but he's telling him she killed Scrappy for nothing. He wasn't a snitch. And Marvin's like, yeah, well, he was doing something. He might have not snitched on that, but he was doing something. He had a secret or something. And everybody got secrets. I mean, that's what Detective Shannon was saying, that Howard had secrets. Hell, she has secrets too. Everybody has secrets. So, but it was just strange that it seemed like Marvin was trying to side with Rock and, justify what she did because Scrappy wouldn't tell him what was going on. Anyway, then the scene switched to Laverne at the guidance counselor's office. You know what? This kills me because that's how the guidance counselors were back in the day. She's looking for a job or something she can do. And the guidance counselor is asking her, did she check the career board? She said, the only thing up there is White Castle McDonald's. She said, well, those are junior entry positions and stuff. And she's like, it could be a satisfying career. She said, you ever think about the military? You could maybe get in for an officer candidate position. And Jukebox was like, I ain't trying to be in no war. She said, well, what do you like to do? What interests you? And she said, singing. And that guidance counselor told her singing is not a career, it's a pastime. That heifer, I was like, what in the world? I remember going in the guidance counselor when I was younger, and they gonna look at my grades and say, you ever think about being a scientist? A scientist? Do you see those 2 C's in science? I am not a science major. Hello? It was so ridiculous. Anyway, Jukebox left out and said, I'll figure something out. Then we have a scene with Detective Howard meeting with Rock in some parking lot or something. And, they're talking and he's trying to let her know that, all of this stuff is messed up. And the boy's head is so messed up. He's talking about how Kanan comes to him and talks to him sometimes. And she said, Kanan don't talk. He said, he talked to me, Rock. And he said, he needs to know that we on the same side. And she said, we ain't on the same side. So anyway, they go to catch up with Kanan at Famous's apartment. they tell Famous he needs to get out. He was like, no due respect, but that's my apartment. He said, no disrespect taken. Now get out. And he was like, nah, this is apartment. And he get to stay. That's what Kanan said. So Rock gave Famous some money to go get pizza. And of course, Famous was going to leave because he was already hungry because they were smoking weed. And he's like, what happened to that turkey that was in here? And Kanan told him, you wolfed that down 2 days ago when you was high or whatever it was. And he said, word, I did. So they needed money. So she gave him money to get pizza and he was out the door. And so they were trying to talk to, Kanan, and he's like, oh, what, y'all back together again now? He's just with the smart mouth and everything. And they're telling him we need to be on the same page. The police are out there. Things are hot. We need to get things straight and our story straight and da 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 da. And then he goes, we could get straight all we want, but that damn partner of yours, he said, that white partner of yours, she know everything. She put everything together and she's going to blow up our spot, basically. And Rock said, yeah, she did come and question me about some stuff. And I thought she was just digging. He said, nah, she know everything. So, Howard said he'll look out for her and check that out, and he's like, fine. Then it switches over to Burke, her father, her union rep, and an attorney, and they trying to find out with that meeting with IAD, and they trying to find out what they got on her, and they said she had questionable relationships with a number of young people, and they named about 2 or 3 young kids. One of them she had never met, the girl Nicole, but it didn't look good for her. Then there was this funny scene where Kanan and Famous are meeting up with this guy. I guess he's a drug dealer or whatever, and they want to work for him on a corner to make some extra money to pay their rent. And he's there trying to spend time with his son. They're playing video games together, and he's talking to them, and they said something about the mafia, and the kid's name is Romero. He said, what's the mafia? He said, what I tell you about getting in grown folks' business? He said, they ain't grown. He was so right about that. It was so funny. And then, he told him no, he's not interested in doing no business with them. He said because Famous would smoke up his product in a heartbeat because that's what he did, Anyway, then it switches to Laverne and Marvin. Jukebox and her father, and he said the church brought over a box of stuff from Kenya's house, and it was marked for Laverne, and it had a lot of stuff in it, albums and music and stuff in it, because she know Kenya liked to sing. When she heard Kenya sing, remember that episode when not Kenya, I'm sorry, that episode when Jukebox was singing, she tore that song up in church. Oh, hallelujah, she tore it up. So anyway, Marvin tells her that they said they're having a memorial service for her tonight, and that if she wanted to go, he would go with her. And she looked at him like, really? And then he got up and he hugged her. It was nice. He hugged her and held her, and she cried in her father's arms. So Marvin went to the service, the memorial service, and he was waiting for Jukebox to come. But she stayed home listening to those albums that, her mother had left for her with, I think I saw Roberta Flack, Diana Ross, Aretha Franklin, and Marvin Gaye was some of the ones I saw, And she just laid on the floor listening to them, and she was also reading a Bible at the same time. And then Marvin decided to get up and he left. I still wonder where that church is. It's somewhere here in Harlem where I live, because the house that they used for Kenya, where she lived, was only like 3 blocks from my house. So I still been wondering which one of the churches. We have a lot of churches here in Harlem, so I was just curious which one it was. Anyway, now we have a scene with Kanan going into the old house that they had, and they see the boxes packed up, and Lou is sitting in there on the floor, drinking, of course, and they start talking about Rock and everything, and Lou tells him how he had Rock had him kill his friend Wiz, and Kanan said he felt she was behind it, but he didn't know that part about Lou. And Lou is saying how she's selling the house because she don't care about it. So they just having a touching moment, and they're drinking beer and talking about things. But Lou is like really done with this right now. Now we see Unique showing up at Rock's new house, and she opens the door and he's like, what's up, baby? She said, you lost Igga? He said, I thought I was until I found you. He said, how you doing? And she was like trying to cook dinner with one arm. He said, looks like you need a hand. And so she let him in. So they in the kitchen talking while she's cooking, and she's letting him know that she's closing up shop and that this is done. She don't know what's next for her. And he's like, word? She said it ain't worth it to her anymore. So Unique gets close up on Rock and said, I'm gonna miss you out here on the streets. She said, you'll be all right. He said, well, you were the best part of the game. And next thing you know, he kissed her. And then she pushed him back, and then she kissed him. And she had just finished cooking and stuff. And they started making out, and she was like pulling down her pants in the back, and he laid her over on the counter, butt up, and he just did his thing. Well, after taking off all his stuff and putting his gun on the side, and he just worked it out. I said, oh, excuse me, y'all. And then it ended with Detective Howard meeting Burke. He meeting Burke, saying they need to talk and squash things and everything. And Burke sat there in the car. He met with her, get in the car. She told him everything that she know about him. She had everything basically spot on. And he said, say this was true. And I'm not saying it is, but say it is. It still don't add up to shit, Burke. It don't add up to nothing. And she was like, am I right about this and that? And she just going on. And she got him so upset with all the stuff she was saying. He just pulled out a gun and shot her, pop, in the head and killed her. Just like that. And then he had blood spattered on him, and he's trying to wipe all the blood off of him, and he's trying to put the gun in her hand to make it look like she committed suicide. And he realized she had a gun under her leg on her left side, and that she had a recording in her pocketbook. In her pocket, recording everything he said. He was like, damn, Bert. And then he just like bounced, and it ended like that. So y'all let me know down in the comment section what y'all thought about this episode. But that's how it went down. It still was a good episode, but I'm sorry this was so long, but y'all know I like to give all the details. Anyway, it's your girl Barbie J saying, please do not forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace.